Dragonfire Ascension, the Ember Throne. Chapter 1 Rise of the Orphan. In the serene village of Elderglen, nestled within the lush valley of Enderwood, a new tale began to unfold. As the first light of dawn spread across the land, the village slowly awakened. Farmers moved toward the fields, children's laughter echoed in the square, and the soft hum of daily life resumed its gentle rhythm. Alden and Orphan had already risen, embracing the quiet stillness of the morning. The orphanage was always crowded, but these early moments of tranquility, as the first rays of sunlight kissed the surrounding peaks, brought him solace. He relished this fleeting peace before the village fully came to life. The towering mountains stood tall, their rugged beauty ever drawing Alden's gaze. They whispered to him, ancient and mysterious, stirring within him a profound sense of curiosity. Though still young, Alden had always felt a pull toward the unknown, as if something extraordinary awaited in those distant, majestic heights. Deep inside, he knew his fate was somehow tied to them. At 12 years old, Alden was far from ordinary. His curiosity seemed boundless, and his mind was always alive with questions and wonder. The stories told by the village elder, Hilda, particularly captivated him, especially when shared around the warmth of the hearth. These were tales of mythical beasts, heroic figures, and most enchanting of all, dragons. Among the many legends, none enthralled Alden more than the ones about the dragon said to dwell in the towering peaks surrounding their village, Elderglen. Hilda often described dragons as wise and empathetic beings, not just the fearsome monsters that many believed them to be. These ancient creatures had once shared a profound bond with humans, but such connections had long since faded, disappearing with the dragon riders of old. As Alden stood in the early light of dawn, staring intently at the distant misty peaks, Hilda joined him in silence, her presence as calm and wise as the mountains themselves, sensing his quiet contemplation. She rested her hand gently on his shoulder. "Alden," she began, her voice gentle yet firm, "do you know why the bond between dragons and humans was lost?" Alden shook his head, his eyes still fixed on the distant mountains. "No, Hilda, you've never told me that part." Hilda exhaled softly, her gaze filled with a deep, quiet sorrow. The bond was broken when humans lost their ability to truly listen. They forgot how to hear the whispers of the wind, the songs of rivers, and the silent voices of dragons. In their pursuit of power and ambition, they abandoned the old ways. Amid the village's daily hum, Alden's mind often drifted to the towering peaks. His dreams took him above the clouds, soaring over mountains, feeling the wind's embrace and hearing an ancient, distant voice. Though the words were unclear, they stirred something deep within him, filling him with a powerful sense of purpose he couldn't shake. In the days that followed, Alden felt an irresistible pull toward the mountains. His fascination with dragons and their forgotten language grew stronger, and the serene connection he sensed near the peaks stirred a deep longing within. The constant noise of the orphanage and the hum of village life became unbearable, while the mountain's quiet solitude called to him with overwhelming intensity. One morning, driven by an insatiable curiosity, Alden made a decision. He gathered a small pack with bread, cheese, and a flask of water, then cast a determined glance back at Elderglen and began his climb into the mountains. The climb was steep and dangerous, but Alden's determination never faltered. His heart raced, not from fear, but from the thrill of the unknown. With every step, he felt a quiet hope growing inside him, as though the mountains were beckoning him closer to a secret long hidden, waiting just for him to discover. He knew, deep within, that his life would never be the same again. Days blurred as Alden pressed on, undeterred by the biting winds and rugged terrain. Drawn by an unseen force, he ventured farther than anyone from Elderglen had dared in living memory. The harsh journey only strengthened his resolve. Each step felt as if something hidden in the distant peaks was calling him, pulling him closer. One evening, after coaxing a small fire to life, Alden crouched beside it, soaking in the warmth. His heartbeat quickened in the stillness, then a low, rhythmic hum broke the silence. It wasn't threatening. It felt like a lullaby, carried by the mountain winds. His pulse raced, not with fear, but anticipation. In the fire's flickering glow, 2 glowing emerald eyes watched from the shadows. His breath caught, a gasp escaping him as he realized he was no longer alone. The air around him thickened with the weight of something ancient, and his next breath felt like the start of a new destiny. The mountains had revealed their secret, and Alden was ready to listen. Alden's pulse quickened, not from fear but with a strange sense of familiarity, as if this meeting had been written in the stars. A profound feeling stirred within him, an unshakable sense of destiny and purpose he couldn't yet grasp. Then a voice echoed, not through sound but within his mind. It was ancient, rich with sorrow, yet oddly familiar. Though the language was foreign, its meaning was as clear as if he'd always known it. The voice bore the weight of centuries, filled with both wisdom and regret. Alden stood frozen, realizing he was hearing the long-lost silent language Hilda had spoken of, the one he'd imagined in stories. Overwhelmed by awe, Alden instinctively responded. Emotions surged within him, none his own: surprise, curiosity, and a strange sense of relief, like a forgotten memory resurfacing. His heart pounded as he rose slowly, meeting the dragon's glowing emerald eyes. In that moment he realized one thing clearly: he was no longer alone, and his life would never be the same. For the first time Alden felt he belonged. He whispered, "I can hear you. I understand." The dragon's emerald eyes narrowed, assessing him with ancient wisdom. Their gaze locked, and a profound connection sparked between them, deep, timeless, and unspoken. In that moment Alden realized his destiny was intertwined with the dragon's, forging a bond that would shape his future. Together they would restore what was lost and reignite the ancient bond between dragons and humans. The dragon emerged into the fire's light, its emerald and gold scales shimmering. Alden, awestruck, felt a profound bond form, one that transcended time, words, and the divide between their worlds. His journey had just begun. As their minds connected, Alden felt the dragon's ancient wisdom, sorrow, and hope. The dragon's longing to restore the lost bond with humans sparked Alden's newfound purpose, to heal the deep divide between their worlds. The mountains had shared their secret with him, and he had listened. Now Alden stood at the edge of magic and destiny. Under the starlit sky, in the towering peaks, he was no longer just an orphan. He was the bridge between 2 worlds. His journey had only begun.